Hi everyone. Can you all hear me now?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Perfect, perfect.
Um, Good
Yeah,
afternoon, ma'am.
good afternoon. Sorry, this is me with the name of Mentorbox because we are Mentorbox is the sister community of me. So yeah, that's the reason why. I hope you all don't mind. Or do you all want me to change this?
No, ma'am, it's absolutely fine, ma'am. Thank you for joining us once again. So I believe people will be joining us by the time we start the event, and I would like to welcome you to the community. So I believe we can, without a further ado, we can start the event.
Sure.
So, good afternoon, ma'am, and everyone. We would love to welcome Miss Rakhi on our community. So, basically, welcome everyone to another weekly event of Start Now. We are having none other than Miss Rakhi Pal. We all know her from Shark Tank episode, and she has been an inspiration for millions of women throughout the country and world. And her enthusiasm for entrepreneurship is commendable. And once again, ma'am, welcome to Start Now. We are basically a community for young entrepreneurs. We encourage entrepreneurship and we are trying to help India to become an entrepreneur hub. So we would love to welcome you here and we really love the work you are doing and you have been really an inspiration for every young entrepreneur and especially for the women entrepreneur community. And so basically, we start now started 2 months ago around, and we are now a member community of 1,000 people, and we are trying to like reach many colleges, many students, and tell them the benefits of entrepreneurship and try to encourage them to become an entrepreneur. So I believe we can start now without a further ado. Basically, it's going to be a one-on-one interaction session, and we are just going to have certain questions regarding startups, and we'll be talking about those. So my first question for you is, how did you get the idea of the community-based startup like event-based? What was your motive behind it?
All right. So first of all, thank you, team, and thank you, Shubhanshu, for welcoming me here. And coming to how did we start with the idea of event week or the community, I would say. Just what I'll do is, guys, I am pretty sure most of you all here are great wanting to know more about what is going to come in the startup phase, startup industry. What are people talking about? So I'll just share my experiences and insights from the people that's coming, like the top people who are talking about. Like, so I would say recently we met Aman Gupta or Ashneer Grover, and what we learned from them. Probably I'll share those things with you all because this is going to add good amount of value to the session. So whomever we've been speaking to today, uh, right now in the advisory board as well at event we had people from we have people from InMobi, we have people from LinkedIn, director of engineering, and then there are so many people from ShareChat. End of the day, everyone say that the communities are going to be the future. And while we were building a community, we didn't even think like this. Like we had no idea. Was not even sure like what exactly happens in a community. But what I would say when we was started with a vision is we wanted to help college students and make their life much more exciting, much more fun. And we, again, you all are college students, you all know that there are so many problems. When I come into your college and I ask you what exactly is the problem that you are facing right now in your college, you list down hundreds of problems, and that's going to be there. Or 100 problem ke liye, there can't be one solution to each. And uh, yet the college industry is not yet organized properly, you all know that. It's a super big industry, if you check the numbers, if you check how much a college or how much a student spends yearly, it's a huge industry which is not yet organized. So what we decided was that one day what we did in 2018, me and my co-founders, we actually gathered our team and we went down to colleges one on one. We took surveys, feedback, and we nearly 10,000 students we interviewed. And from them we got the बहुत सारे, and if we start solving one each, we know we're landing anywhere. So that's what we decided to have a community where one student can help another student, and that community has to be so strong, so tightly coupled कि it becomes a part of your college life. Because suppose today a student from IIT Bombay should be able to help a student from Amity Lucknow. Not that communication, this sort of bond has to be there within that community and the students. So basically, a student should be able to help other students, because what we could do as a startup, we can create a platform, an ecosystem where everyone can come in and solve each other's problem. But solving for one student is going to be very difficult. So that's how the idea of community came in, and communities are something that it's a very hard thing to build. Trust me, like firstly, I would say startups are very hard to build. Uske upar se tech startup is super hard to build. And after that, if you're planning to build a community, it's much more harder. The metrics, the ratios that come in, like engagement, retention, stickiness, traction, all of these figures are something that are out of your control. And you have to heavily use your brain. Like even 24 hours are going to be less if you're planning to build a community, and that too with a young crowd, where the students are also someone who are learning something new. They're adapting technology, and then they're moody. We're dealing with so many user personas that even we are shocked every day we learn something new. I with a tough space, but that's how the idea of community came in picture. We realized that there are so many problems that one startup can't solve, and that's where a student can solve it for other students. So that's how the idea came in.
I totally agree with your point. Like it's really hard to build a community because eventually when we started, like we are like in our first year of college, and when we decided to build, like it was really hard to like get these young students because they tend to like fluctuate very much. Like once today they are interested in one thing, next day they are totally something different, and the third day they want to be an actor. Sometimes it's really hard to catch their interest and constantly keep them attached to something. It's quite a really tough job, and I'm pretty much sure that you guys are doing great over there, and you have like able to like keep them engaged and captured on event B. And one more thing I really wish to ask, like generally when we are starting a community or a startup, we the numbers actually really attract us. So like the first 100 or the first 1,000 means a lot to us. Like we are still waiting for our numbers to like hit the four-digit figure of 1,000. So could you share your experience? Like how was your experience when you first time event B or mentor box reached that figure of 1,000? What was that feeling, and what actually was going in your mind? Like from what like where we could go from here? What was your like feeling that moment of time? Could you please share that?
I would honestly say, unless you find out the right product market fit, like, is this exactly what students want? You will always chase downloads and traction. हाँ अभी 500 हो गया नहीं पहले 100 then 500 then 1,000. So I have seen I've seen the Play Store numbers from 0 to 150K. So for me, 100 was a big achievement, and 500 was a good achievement, and 5K was a good achievement. But after that, 10K was very hard to get in. But after that, I made sure that I'll get 50K, and then I kept a deadline. Ki, 3 months, I have to do it 50K. I did it. But after 50K, I think everything was taken care by Shark Tank bus. But yeah, I would say honestly, जो 50K जितनी मेहनत से we have gotten, that 50K has been very hard to get, very hard. And the feeling when it comes, you feel like, okay, this is satisfactory. I'll tell you this. It's not a good habit, although, but you are chasing that number. I have to make it 50K, 50K. This is done. Now I'll focus on other things. That happens, and that is actually not the right way to do it, because then after that, what I realized, 50K मेरे लिए लाना was मुश्किल, but after Shark Tank 100K easily came in. Then I easily got detached to that traction. I thought downloads will any which ways happen. End of the day, what is important is today you have this bucket, और वो bucket में hole है. तो हजारों की तादाद में तो लोग आ रहे हैं, but वो hole से it's draining as well. They're not retaining. If you're not able to retain that crowd who's coming in at a high space, then there's no point of building a community. So we faced that. I mean, this is happening with us as well, because suddenly the huge traction came in, and then it started draining as well. And again, communities are not easy to handle. Like the day when we had our Shark Tank episode launch, we had 9,000 people on the app. We are like 21 team member people, 21 team, in at event B, 21 member team. I'm sorry. So these 21 members obviously can't handle 9,000 people. And what we did was, like, we had bots, we had everything, but end of the day things start crashing, because we never thought that 9,000 people will be there active within 30 minutes onto the app. So you have to be prepared for everything. Again, like, we were prepared for Shark Tank, but we nearly thought कि अच्छा ठीक है, New Year's Eve है, तो nearly 4,000, 5,000 से ज़्यादा नहीं आएंगे. But thankfully nothing crashed that hard. Things were working with us. We were up till 4 o'clock in the morning on that New Year's Eve. Everybody left their parties and they made sure that we were able to attend all the 9,000 people. That was a big win for us that day. But honestly, I would say लोगों को लाना मुश्किल है, but उससे भी कई ज़्यादा मुश्किल है to retain them. So retention is a problem, and that's the reason why now how we're catering it. I'll tell you that we're working in small cohorts. We know that today we want to get students from Amity, Kolkata, and we'll get them only onto the platform, and we'll test and try features with them. If it works out, then we'll scale. But we'll not get the masses, not get users from different backgrounds and test it with them, because that's not going to give us any viable result. So yeah, we testing in cohorts, and that is very important. Testing in small groups. Once it works well in small groups, you start replicating it to the larger crowd. That's how we're working now.
And that was a really great answer. And the best part talking about young entrepreneurs like you is that we can actually relate with the problems like they are facing. Because eventually, after seeing your profile, even you are a if I'm not wrong, you are from mechanical background, mechanical engineer. Even I am doing mechanical engineer. So like it's sometimes we are easily able to relate with these young entrepreneurs. Like we can actually understand their problem and we can actually learn from those. So it's a really great thing. And before I open the stage for the crowd, I just had one question like how did your life change after Shark Tank? Because eventually you became the face for the women entrepreneurs. Like eventually, whenever we are talking to any woman who wants to be an entrepreneur, the first name which comes to her, like the first name she says is yours. Like they are really inspired by you. So like, how did you feel? Like, was there a change in your personal life? Like you are walking down the street and someone like approached you and tried to ask like some tips from you or just ask about your experience. Like, can you just share about that?
Right. So honestly, life actually changed after Shark Tank. I never thought this is going to happen at this early age in 24, 25. Because yeah, I've been a very person who is not that active on social media, uh, not that active on Instagram, anywhere. So for me, initially that started happening where people we were walking on streets. I was in Meghalaya. I thought, okay, I'm in a solo trip. Nobody will realize this is me. But then people there in Delhi, everywhere, like wherever we walked, people were like, "Hey, were you on Shark Tank? Are you Rakhi Pal?" So that was like, you know, it was a good feeling. At the end of the day, I somewhere realized that I don't want even be to be known because of my story. I want even be to be known because of the community member's story. Like there is a community member XYZ who's grown in the community with this ratio, and then he's got a good package or he started a startup, something like that. So I want eventually to be somewhere known with that name. So now I'm actually attending less events. I am kind of being hidden. Uh, yeah, I think I think from January it started. January, February, March, April. I would say 4 5 months. It's been a good leverage, but now I think it should somewhere lower down, because what happens is every entrepreneur, if you see, they like working in background. Foreground may they want the artists, the people who can actually they who were extrovert, who can actually talk out. So I am someone like who is happy to stay backstage and see the results. So yeah, I mean, it's good to see that people are being inspired. I'm really happy that it's somewhere bringing change in families, somewhere bringing change in the way how women are looked, women entrepreneurs, not only women, but I see there are young entrepreneurs as well, college students who've not been given a chance by, you know, certain people around them saying that, no, it's not the right time to do it and everything. But I think, all of this is impacting actually. So yeah, my small effort, if it could impact really good number of people, I am really grateful for that. Instead, I would say I'm lucky that I got a platform where I could encourage other people. But yeah, this has actually life has changed. But honestly,
And now I guess I would love to invite other people to ask some more questions because eventually, like I love talking with you right now. Like if I just keep talking, others won't get chance because I have tons of questions to ask from you. So like I would love to invite other people to ask questions. And you can just raise your hand or unmute yourself and ask Miss Rakhi a question or drop your name in the event chat section and we'll call out your name. And then you can have a one-on-one interaction with Miss Rakhi.
yeah. So guys, I would say if you'll ask me questions, I guess that would be better, because if we start telling about our stories, it's like it'll keep going. And I want you all to ask me the right questions so that I can give you all the right answers, because I have a lot to share in these 4 or 5 years of us working in startups. But whoever is looking to start something new, or has already started, I would be happy to probably answer anything in terms of fundraise, in terms of hiring, starting a new startup, finding mentors, anything.
Uh, Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yeah.
I have a question for that. Like, I wanted to know about an approach. Like, right now, this community-based startups are like increasing day by day. So people are leveraging the power of communities right now. So what will be like, according to you, which approach is better? Like, should we start with a community first and then implement our model, or like should we first implement our business model and then create a community?
All right. I would say very good question, Priyansh, because this is what we have faced. This is the exact problem that we're facing right now. So I'll tell you. See, community. If you start a community, you will be doing everything under the sun. You will be doing engagement. You will be doing retention. You'll be creating content. You'll be inviting people to create content. And end of the day, it's always this 20-80 ratio, whereas 20% people will create content and 80% will be the consumers. Now, to retain those 80% consumers, your 20% creators have to be super amazing. And that's the biggest challenge that Eventbeep is facing today. We are not having the right content creators to engage these 80% people because we are directly a community platform. So I would rather suggest every startup to actually solve one problem, actually find one problem. Okay, this is my USP and this is the utility or the value add I'm doing for students. Utility, suppose if I had to give you an idea of utility, Dunzo is a utility platform today. Swiggy, Instamart is a utility platform that which you get in your daily use. So अगर ये आप now let's consider the example of Eventbeep itself. Your uh, solution is for college students. Your solution is for college students to deliver lunch for them every college hours. You're delivering lunch for them. That comes under utility. If your startup is doing that, you already are solving one problem. Now with that one problem around, you'll be easily able to create a community, and that's going to be very easy because you have one product. You're having feedbacks for that, and for that product you can build around a community. And फिर वो community बनने के बाद आप आपका value addition भी change कर सकते हो वहाँ पे. A lot of things can happen once you have a solution for a problem. But I wouldn't suggest anyone to directly jump into building a community because that is going to be a tough journey and a long journey, basically.
Uh, So, ma'am, I have this question. Like, wanted to ask about this investor like trend. Are the investor interested in the startup that already have a community first? Like, because they need a audience base first, and then to implement our models. There are certain startups, and they are getting funded. So, is this right for
Yeah,
that?
obviously that is right. Like investors are always going to be ready to put in money over a community-based startup because everyone knows like if you're able to engage the community, you have something in you. And that's where investors are ready. Market में बहुत पैसा है. And raising funds is not that difficult. You can get money easily. मतलब आपके प्रोडक्ट में दम है तो. I recently, so Shark Tank says धंधे में दम है तो पैसा लगाएंगे, but more of what we frame right now is धंधे में और बंदे में दम है तो ही पैसा लगेगा. तो धंधा और बंदा दोनों बहुत सही होना चाहिए. तो इसलिए what investors look at is the company profile and the founder profile and how good is that person in terms of solving this exact problem. So today, what investors see in us is, are we that people who can take the community all together and run the marathon? So yeah, that is the quality that's being also seen in us. And yeah, I would say honestly, community startups को एक leverage हमेशा होता है because you have a lot of things in hand. You create an ecosystem, a platform for other brands to come in, other startups to come in. So if you're a community, you already have an upper hand, I would say. But you have to strategize on how will you build that community. You will build it through a solution for a problem, or you will directly build a community and then solve a problem. It's up to you.
Ma'am, yeah, like this investment related question है, for the community based startup. Like, like having a good and a healthy, well retained community, does it like raise the evaluation of a company, like even if it has not been started, like to get the early pre-seed stage investor?
Can you repeat it again, Priyansh? I mean, I think I lost you in
Okay,
between.
so ma'am, my question is like, since if there is a startup on an ideation stage, so they have a good community at first, but so having that community, a well retained and a healthy community in the starting only, does that give a boost to the evaluation of a company that has even not started earning?
See, I'll tell you honestly, it does help. If you have started a small committee of 500 people, you're able to engage them very well. You're able to, add certain amount of value to them on a daily basis. You're not monetizing, but you are engaging the community. What you could do is at this stage you can actually start approaching investors, saying that hey, the 100 people committee and this is working the best way possible. I just here to make this connect with you. Today, this 100 people community, I am trying to make in 3 months a 1,000 member community. Because whatever I've done with these 100 people, I've given them 5-star experience. I'll give the same 5-star experience, I'll give to the next 900 that I'm going to be having in the community. And you tell that investor that keep an eye on me. Because obviously, for a 100-member community, the investor might not invest. But for a 1,000-member community, if you're able to engage them pretty well, then he might think, okay, fine, I can look for a pre-seed. Because these people are doing well. But for also, if not for 1,000, he's going to invest pre-seed. He'll see how do you grow eventually. 1,000 से अगर आप 5,000 में चले गए and you still able to add value, the feedbacks are good, the reviews are good, you're doing something, you have further plans for monetizing, revenue system आपका clear है, आपने टेस्ट किया है कि ये 1,000 लोगों को आपने बोला है कि see I'm going to sell you this, out of that 1,000 10 people were ready to take this, or 100, I mean at least you could show कि out of 1,000 100 people were ready to buy this. So then the investor is impressed कि okay fine, he's done his homework, he's done everything in small cohorts and he's ready to scale it to a bigger level. So yeah, that's how you can try it. But if you have plans to take this company to a next level, have a startup out of it, I'll rather suggest you all start getting in touch with the investors. There are a lot of investors who look at the idea stage startups. जैसे 100x VC है और बहुत सारे ऐसे VCs angels है. You all can just start building the touch with them because they can, pretty early on they can help you. And just even if they don't ask, just keep updating them about your growth. What exactly is happening, abhi kitna users hai, abhi kya engagement hai, what is the new thing that we tried, because that is how these investors will remember you and that's how they'll vouch for you in their network. So yeah, I'd rather see that.
So, how do we like reach out these investors, early stage investors?
I would say LinkedIn is the best platform because that's how we are doing it as well.
Yeah.
And then you can figure out, Google karogi how many VC funds that help early stage startups, you'll find a number of names there. There are a lot of such VCs, and then you can start mailing them, reaching out to them. There is always directly reach out to founders, the business analysts, anything. Like start reaching out, start messaging. I have 1 month LinkedIn premium free subscription, 30 days का मिलता है आपको. Just take that. Start emailing people. Email is the best thing. I mean, I would say that really worked for me. I also started the same way. Even I had no idea how to reach out. I used LinkedIn entirely. I figured out. I started attending events, workshops, conferences where I realized, okay, fine, this person is from this VC fund. This person is an angel. So I got in touch with him. From him, I got 10 other contacts. And in such events, I met a lot of VCs, everything. So this is how you build your network. Network से ही network बन गया.
Okay, thank you, ma'am, for answering my question.
Mm. Ma'am, I have a question for you. So, firstly, I am from a tier one college, and I love the concept that you are trying to democratize the process, and I completely agree that the only thing IIT offers is the community. The rest all is same. So, my question was like, Even Beep is supported by some programs. So, how do you think if a startup wants to get support from these programs, how do you think we can avail it? Like there are I went through the website and there was a lot of support that Event Beep was getting. So like my question was along those lines.
Okay, so yeah, as you said, NDP has been supported by a lot of programs once. So I would say these are our investors as well, investors mentors. So as I said, we attended a lot of events, workshops, conferences. We applied for a lot of competitions. Like we applied for GSEA, Global Student Entrepreneurship Award. We applied for UNCEP. That was a program funded by NUMA, France-based some accelerator program. We applied for TIE Pune. There's a big TIE network of startups you might be aware of. TIE Pune, TIE Rajasthan. And then we also applied for some a lot of startup programs through which we found out that mentors are going to be there. VCs, angels, सब मिल रहे. So हम लोग ने कोई कसर नहीं छोड़ी, to apply at various programs. I myself applied for a lot of women entrepreneurs programs where I got support from Thai Women, She Leads, then some amazing women network. So yeah, just be up with whatever is happening in the startup industry. Abhi Sequoia ka, Sequoia is also one of the biggest funds. What you could do is have their Sequoia Surge. I think the application is recently closed. Y Combinator में apply करो. वहाँ से आप जब अप्लाई करना स्टार्ट करोगे तो आपको पता चलेगा कि अच्छा और भी अभी Antler is there in India. Antler founders residency program has started in Bangalore. So apply for that. But when you start applying for this, you get in touch with people who are already doing all of these things in the industry. Looking at them, you will realize more things, and then you apply more. As you said, you're from a tier one college bench. Uh, the kind of activity your friends are doing, you will be also aware of that, and you will also do similarly. Something similar to that. So it's all about giving it a shot as early as possible, finding out. I would say. So that's how
Definitely.
we
Also,
found
ma'am, like
programs.
there are a lot of competitions related to startups that are going on. Like there is a pitching competition, or there might be case studies. So, do you think we should participate in those competitions at idea level, or do you think there is a chance that they will copy us?
Um, I would say see what kind of programs are they. Don't I would say see pitching is always good. It gives you your first 30 pitches are going to be so drastic. You will be criticized, you'll be said a lot of things, and you will be demotivated, but it's good. पिचिंग की प्रैक्टिस करना बहुत अच्छी बात है, लेकिन कहाँ करना है दैट यू हैव टू फिगर आउट. सो इफ टुडे देयर इज अ कॉलेज इवेंट, जिस टाइम पास कॉलेज इवेंट जहाँ पे टेक फेस्ट हो रहा है, वहाँ पे एक स्टार्टअप पिचिंग इवेंट है, आई वुड से you can go and pitch, but also depends on what kind of panel members are going to be there. Are the panel members who are there, have they built something? Have they built something, and are they worthy enough to give you the right feedbacks? Because you can't say today that a metallurgy professor is sitting there as a panel member for judging your startup that's entirely into tech. He can't give you any right feedback. He'll say, "What are you doing? Don't do it. Go study. Do your assignments on time or something." He'll just say that. So that's going to be a waste of your time probably pitching it to him. कोई बात है वो भैंस के आगे बीन बजाने वाला, तो इसलिए today if there is a pitching event going in probably IIT Bombay, and there are some amazing panelists, like there is this guy Vaibhav Sisinti, Viril Bhatnagar, or someone who's already built something, already knows the you know already knows how to exactly build it, already has done things in life, you can give right feedback, then go and pitch in front of them, and it makes more sense and it saves your time as well. I would say pitch karte raho, that is very good, but make sure whom are you pitching, but never lose out an opportunity on pitching, because right people will never copy your idea. If you're pitching in front of right people, they'll always help you. But if you're pitching in front of this like random people, they'll be like, अच्छा इसका idea अच्छा है, थोड़ा सा idea यहाँ से लेके यहाँ से लेके यहाँ से लेके कुछ नया बनाते हैं. So that happens also. That I've also seen happening. So this is my experience, because I used to pitch anywhere and everywhere a lot. I would rather say is, yeah, find the right panel whom you're going to be pitching to.
Definitely. Ma'am, there was one more question that I wanted to ask. Like even there is a new trend that is going on, that the coin system of even deep, like they are keeping some EV coins, and on the basis of that, some people are getting gifts, so they can buy those gifts from those coins. So this is done by a lot of new startups, new age startups are nowadays. So how do you think does this actually engage the community, or is it like a promotion strategy, or a marketing strategy that we say ki we will onboard people, or does it actually work?
I would say it is all about gamification now, because what happens is um, rewards का भी एक limit होता है. There is, so I was recently speaking to this person from Google Pay. So he has built the reward system for Google Pay, and he told me one very interesting thing, that as community grows, you can't have the inventory of rewards. You can't have rewards for life and for everyone there. And the students, the crowd at which we are dealing right now, once they get the reward, they are happy. उनको एक बार जब तक रिवॉर्ड नहीं मिलता, they'll try very hard, but once they get it, they'll be like, अच्छा मिल गया है, अभी वापस से कुछ और ही मिलेगा, and it's fine, I'm happy, I got one reward. And they might leave the platform as well, because right now we're dealing with students, and they are someone who will be today on Start, tomorrow on Event, day after tomorrow on Facebook. So rewards is something, yeah, it's going on very well around in the market. People are providing coupons, vouchers, free goodies, merchandise, but that is just to acquire and retain the user for a very short span of time. That will not let the user stay on the app for a very long time. That's pretty sure. Because you also know that today if you get a very good reward from one platform, you'll be like happy. You don't need it once again. You'll be like, okay, maybe I'll try something new. So I would say it's all about gamification. Now, gamification is also a very wonderful concept. We just term it, मतलब बहुत ऐसे लगता है सुनने में कि अच्छा एक जीपे में तो ये गेमिफिकेशन है, यहाँ पे ये गेमिफिकेशन है, बट एक्चुअली वो एक पूरा सब्जेक्ट है गेमिफिकेशन. It's like a proper subject which we have to master, and I see a lot of product managers literally nailing that part now, gamification. If it's done right, if the rewards are placed right as per the inventory and as per the need, it will really play a big role. But yeah, not a lot of startups and lot of industries are able to crack it yet. So yeah, I would say it's yet to be mastered in a very good way. But rewards can only lower a person and make him retain on the platform for a very short span of time.
Okay. Also, ma'am, like we can use Twitter, we can use LinkedIn in a way like we can attend the events, and through that we can get the contacts and leverage them. So can we do the same for in Twitter as well? Like I heard all the new all the founders that I talked to, they said that use Twitter a lot. There is a lot of networking you can make through Twitter, but no one says how. So do you have any idea on how can we leverage that?
I would honestly say once although I use the company Twitter account, but I don't know how to have my own personal account. I would just say that Twitter, in terms of the whatever algorithms Twitter has, it's easier in Twitter to get viral rather than LinkedIn. Twitter पे content बहुत जल्दी flow होता है. और LinkedIn पे इतना नहीं, because LinkedIन की audience ही कुछ अलग है. There's sophisticated audiences, I would say. Time pass audience को LinkedIn operate करना नहीं आता. Whereas Twitter पे हर तरह का audience है. And virality factor ज़्यादा है वहाँ पे. And most of the founders are really active on Twitter. So, but yeah, as you said, how to get in touch with founders on Twitter, I would say Twitter could not be the right platform because the top ones there are so busy and are being so many times tagged or trolled that they avoid watching comments and everything on Twitter. Because Twitter पे जैसी audience है वैसे comments आ रहे हैं. तो वहाँ पे approach करना, I won't think was gonna be good. I would say LinkedIn is gonna be the right platform, or rather emailing something, or rather finding a reference and then through that reference reaching out to that person. But Twitter के events attend करो, अच्छा है, content grasp करना अच्छा है, you try reaching out, but I would say less probability of people replying back on Twitter. Less probability, honestly. People don't do it. Even I've seen as per the Twitter UI and everything, I also don't check messages. I also don't check tags and everything on Twitter. It's hard to scroll down and see who is doing what.
That was a lot of perspective. Great. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
हेलो मैम, लाइक आई हैव सीन कि आपने भी कॉलेज के बाद इवेंट बीप शुरू किया था. सो रिसेंटली आई ऑल्सो ग्रेजुएटेड फ्रॉम कॉलेज एंड जस्ट लाइक हाउ इवेंट बीप इज हेल्पिंग पीपल फ्रॉम टायर 2 and tier 3. Unlike them, I am from tier 1, so I'm a bit different. So I would like you to give us like any advice for people starting out into startups. Matlab, people who have just gone into startups or like switched a career, because normally people think that startups is a very a risky job, because if you switch from a career to startup, or like if you have a stable career if you go towards startup, or if you have a side business as a startup. So any advice would you give for young entrepreneurs, people who are going into new, especially for female entrepreneurs, because we have many girls in our call right now, so that would be really great.
So thanks for asking this question, Ankit. I would say I actually started Evently while in college in my third year of engineering. And at that time as well, people told me, "Pagal hai kya?" And then uske baad, I got a good package as well. I got placed in a good company in Gurgaon. I left that.
Okay.
तो उसके बाद भी people told me मैं महा पागल है. अभी मुझे लोग पागल बोलते हैं. क्योंकि हाँ, it is a very risky, it's a very hard journey. But I would say the only thing that will differentiate us, because now you see that there are so many people starting up again after college, and yeah, I'll tell you all the factors that are going to come up when you start up after college or while you're in college. First is peer pressure. Everyone will be criticizing you for there'll be some of your friends who will be motivating you, very, very less friends. And rather other people will be like, everyone, maybe your friends, family, everyone will say, yaar, what are you doing? You could have a safe, secure future, settle hona hai, jaldi ye karna hai. So yeah, peer pressure will happen. But only one thing the solution for it's going to be how clear you are about your vision, and are you the one who thinks in a way कि I'll take my life decision. If I fail, then I'm fine. But if somebody else takes my life decision, it's not fine for me to fail. मेरे लिए वो ऐसा था कि मैं अपने लाइफ के हर डिसीजन लेना चाहती हूँ, तो अगर फेल भी हो गई तो कोई हर्ज नहीं, पर अगर किसी और ने मेरे लाइफ का डिसीजन लिया और मैं फेल हो गई तो मैं उस इंसान को छोड़ूंगी नहीं. So you know, if you can take the blame on on yourself, you can take your life decision and you are clear about okay, I'm going to take it up and I'm going to do it. If you're sure about it, then do it. If you're sure that you will be able to surpass all the peer pressure, then go ahead. Second thing is discipline. Only thing that is going to differentiate us and through all from all the other co-founders is founders, everyone is discipline. How disciplined we are. Like an entrepreneur's journey is never less than a soldier. So, are you the one who's going to wake up, who's going to be self-motivated, self-driven? What is the drive that is pushing you to wake up early in the morning and actually work for the idea that you're trying to build? So, if that self-drive, self-motivation is there, discipline is there, things will work. It'll take time, but it'll work. Third one is the again hard work and the smart work is as well. Startups do not work only with hard work. IITs, UPSC crack हो जाता है with hard work. मतलब उसमें भी smart work लगता है, but crack हो जाता है वो. But startups में you have to be थोड़ा सा चंट, you have to be humble, you have to be kind, you have to be respectful, but you have to be smart as well. You have to be, rather I would say, you should know how to get things done. You should know how to get the right thing on the table. Who should be the right person? किसको कहाँ खड़ा करना है to get the right thing from them. So you not only hard work, there is a heavy amount of smart work, smartness that has to come, and that will only come. See, I would honestly say that no person in this whole world can be entirely smart or perfect. Smartness only comes when you talk to right people and when you're in the community of right people. When you see what they're doing, how do they get things done, then yeah, that's how you get used to doing smart work. ये तो अकेले अकेले बैठ के तो कुछ नहीं होता. You have to get into the right community. So yeah, three things as I said. Peer pressure होगा, you know how to solve it. Self-discipline, self-drive, motivation होना चाहिए, and then other thing is hard work and smart work. If these three things you're able to master very early on in your college life or after college, if you're planning to start up, I think nobody can stop you at least from achieving your own dream. So yeah, it took me a very long time to be not that emotionally affected when people say something, and on the other end build that self-motivation, self-drive, and with hard work practice smart work as well. So it took me a lot of time to master this, but when I knew that now I'm able to take care of it, I was like, ठीक है चलो कुछ तो होगा, कुछ ना कुछ तो लाइफ में होगा.
Ma'am, one more thing I would like to ask ki, like in this era of social media and there are online classrooms or in community-based services, especially during the pandemic. So how did that affect Event Beep? Like what all challenges you faced in this time? Because normally what you would have trying to happen is because अगर pandemic नहीं होता then you would have gone to colleges and then hands-on ground work. But pandemic की वजह से everything became online. So did that impact Event Beep or did it actually further accelerate growth?
I would say in 2019 we were in full swing. Like we were doing this college fest events. So initially we were a college ticketing platform, like college events ticketing platform. जैसे book my show for movies है, वैसे we book my show for college fest. But then what happened? Pandemic 2020 में जब हुआ, तो we realized कि कुछ नहीं हो सकता. कॉलेज फेस्ट खत्म, कॉलेज इवेंट्स खत्म, सब ऑनलाइन हो रहा है. हमने थोड़े ऑनलाइन इवेंट्स में ध्यान देने की कोशिश की, बट देन लेटर रियलाइज कि ऑनलाइन इवेंट्स में तो बच्चे भी नहीं आते. Then we were like, अब क्या करें? Like we'll have to figure out what to do and everything, and that's how then we were sure कि community तो बनानी है, and we were already building the community at that time, and then we stopped the idea of events ticketing, and we were already working on the community. But in 2021 we started mentor box as well in March, and that was like an edtech platform for college students where we were working like an aggregator for edtech companies. So today, if you see in Mentorbox, you will find courses from different tech platforms at the discounted price, exclusive price for students. So that's how we started, and then actually that worked for us in pandemic. We were able to generate good amount of revenue, monetize well, and help good number of students through our edtech model as well. So yeah, the only thing we realized is that education is something that's going to go on no matter what. It will find its way online, offline, any which way. But we were like, अगर हमें sustain भी करना है तो we'll have to pivot continuously based on the kind of user behavior that we could see. We saw everyone is doing online course and everything, and that's how we pivoted for that particular time. Yet we are continuing with mentor box, but yeah, now the goals are different. So we have to be that agile, that flexible, that we're able to change up with the market, with the users, on how they're behaving right now. So yeah, we're constantly changing, constantly evolving, growing. That's a continuous exercise that even we keeps doing. So I would say pandemic did affect us, but we were changing, evolving, so we were learning. Pandemic has been a good learning phase for Evenly. So any other questions, guys, you have?
Yes, ma'am. I would love to ask few audience question. I believe they have some issues in opening up their mind. So Pinank has this one question: how hard was the journey when Event Deep was at a beginning stage?
Hard was the journey when Evenly was at the beginning stage. I would honestly say that it was hard. It's harder. It's hardest. It is gonna be uh, every time. It's gonna be hard. It's never easy. But at that time, if I remember, yeah, उस वक्त तो हमने स्टार्टअप सोचकर स्टार्ट भी नहीं किया था. Not even we thought that we're going to be entrepreneurs. Or it's called entrepreneurship. I don't even know how to spell. I didn't even have any idea how to spell entrepreneurship in 2018. So we started it as an initiative that let's help college students, like let's help our friends. So, with that we started, and at that time it was fun. I would say जब कुछ था नहीं ना हमारे पास, तब बड़ा मजा आ रहा था. It was fun actually, because we were trying, testing. There was no pressure. Nobody was judging us, gauging our performance, everything. So I would say how hard it was. I won't say while you start up something, it is fun. एंड वो जो हार्ड फैक्टर होता है ना, वो आपको मजे मजे में ही निकल जाता है, पता नहीं चलता. बट जब इसको लेके सीरियस हो जाते हो ना, तब तब वो चीज़ें हार्ड लगने लगती है. बट आई वुड से उस वक्त मोर ऑफ आई वुड इट वाज हार्ड फॉर मी टू फाइंड आउट द राइट पीपल who can incline with me in this vision, find the right team members, the executionaries, manage the team. So at that time, I too had this chota sa problem statement that I was trying to find a solution for. But the hardest thing there was to find right people who would ride on the bus with me. So yeah, that was the hardest thing, I would say.
And there's another question from Sanskar. What was the smallest action which turned your life upside down or changed your life for good?
What was the smallest action that turns my life upside down?
Or changed your life for good?
Hmm. Okay, so I would honestly, this is a very good question. I would say the decision of staying alone, probably moving out from my house, actually made my life upside down, and then but even changed my life as well. It was something that I did for myself for the first time. I became a bit, I would say, selfish. Selfish भी नहीं बोल सकते उसे. I realized that the problem I want to solve is not for some handful of people, but for a larger crowd, that is a big, big part of our nation. And I want to do something for them. I don't know how well I'll be able to do it, but to do it, I need to be different from everyone out there. So, what makes me different? How will I be able to focus? If I work from home, if I do everything from home, I'll be like a normal person who will do 9 to 5 job, come home, eat, drink, sleep. इसलिए I realized कि नहीं यार, मतलब we'll have to bring a change in our life pattern. There are few things that I'll have to take care of. Probably train my mind, build myself in a way that I'm able to be self-aware, conscious, and realize that am I doing something that's right. So that's the reason why I moved to Bangalore, Gurgaon. Right now I'm in Pune, but I made sure that I moved to such ecosystems where there are people talking about startups. So that's the reason why I was in Gurgaon for 6 months and in Bangalore, and I realized that how crazy people are for startups. And there I was staying alone. So I realized that the journey is not hard, and look at people, they're doing so great. So yeah, my decision of staying alone uh, was something that really changed my life like heavily, and it happened for something good, I would say. Today, if I'm able to talk as well, or probably share some experience as well, it's all because I've given myself that time which I really needed. And staying alone actually helps a lot to be self-aware, conscious. So yeah, that's how it helped me.
And there's another question from Krishnan. how to find people to work on your project when everybody is preparing to get placed and we can't hire people to get the work done for the money at the initial stage. Like like what he I believe he wants to ask is like how to actually get people with the same mindset to work upon the idea.
Correct. It's very hard to find people like with the same mindset. Today, if you start something and you tell your friend that hey, this is going to happen, I might make this worth 10 cr in just next year. They'll be like, it sounds exciting. Can I join? The first thing that they'll say is, can I join? They'll join just to see what you're doing, just to probably learn कि क्या कर रहा है ये बंदे में दम है, but देखते हैं exactly क्या कर रहा है. तीन चार बार दिन वो देखेंगे ही नहीं आपको. उनका वो कैन आई ज्वाइन जिस फोर्स से उन्होंने बोला था ना, उस फोर्स से वो गायब हो जाएंगे. बट देन यू विल बी ऑलवेज डिमोटिवेटेड थिंकिंग कि यार ये तो कोई रुक ही नहीं रहा, कोई आ ही नहीं रहा, मेरे साथ कोई काम करने वाला नहीं है, सब मुझे ही करना पड़ रहा है. तो दिस इज गोना हैपन. एंड now probably to find people who are going to work with you and be inclined with your vision, uh, there are going to be always people in your classroom or anywhere who will be very quiet, shant, working with the willingness to learn, not knowing कि करना क्या है exactly, पर कुछ तो करना है. ऐसे लोग बहुत कम मिलते हैं, रेयर होते हैं, बट उनमें ना एक वो ये डिटर्मिनेशन रहता है. फाइंड दोस पीपल who is like good and tech curious but doesn't know how to operate on Flutter. So you can tell him that, see, hey, I am any which way is building a team. I am building a startup. I want to build something. Now you are figuring out what to do in life and you are very much curious in tech. Why don't you learn this technology? You come in, learn, we learn together. Let's start building something. Because अगर आप उस इंसान को लर्निंग अप्रोच से अपने पास लेकर आते हो ना, तो वो उसके टिकने की प्रोबेबिलिटी ज़्यादा है. बट अगर आप उस इंसान को ये बोल के लाते हो कि यार तू आप मिलके पैसे कमाएंगे, तो वो तो पैसे के लिए आएगा और उसको कहीं अच्छी प्लेसमेंट मिलेगी तो वहीं चला जाएगा. तो what you could if you really want to build something and if you really want to have the team members with you from the start, you'll have to tell them that hey, come here, let's learn together. You know that you're not going to get into your dream company and not going to get a good package as well, so come, at least we'll do something and build something good. Because तुम कंपनी में जाके अपना टाइम वेस्ट ही करोगे, तो आ जाओ मेरे साथ, कुछ सीख लोगे. मेरे साथ सीखने के बाद तुमको और अच्छी अपॉर्चुनिटीज मिले लाइफ में. तो find those people who are going to be determined, who not going to be your friends जो हर बार में बोले कुछ. क्या होता है फ्रेंड्स के साथ भी आप कुछ स्टार्टअप करोगे ना, तो वो बोलेंगे चल यार चाय सुट्टा ब्रेक में जाते हैं, या चल मूवी देख के आते हैं, बहुत डिप्रेशन हो गया. तो आप उन लोगों के साथ भी हमेशा काम नहीं कर सकते हो. आपको ऐसे लोग चाहिए जो जिनमें वो लगन हो काम करने की. basically I would say who determined. And then this is one of the ways you can find them in your classroom, within your groups, batchmates, college mates, or then you can go around, check on LinkedIn who is the one who exactly started the same idea like me, is 1-2 year elder to me, younger to me, who's in the same industry. You can approach them and say that hey, I'm also doing something similar, why don't you join me? Rather than competing, let's collaborate, let's build something together, we'll be able to build it faster. So that's how you can do it as well.
Hey,
And I believe Sanchit has a question. And Sanchit, could you please go ahead and ask ma'am your question?
Yeah, okay. I'm audible. Hello.
Yes, Sanchit, yeah, you're audible.
Okay, okay. So, I want to ask the question that what are the biggest challenges to being an entrepreneur?
Challenges to become an entrepreneur.
Being an entrepreneur.
To being an entrepreneur. First thing that I would say is be away from the fame. If you're an entrepreneur and you come in the limelight, then you're gone. Business करने का time ही नहीं मिलेगा, and then you'll be flown away with the the limelight, the everything that you're getting. And the biggest challenge is to be distracted while you're building something. Now, when you're 24, 25, a lot of things come in between. Just say you get this family pressure that hey, you're not earning well, your college mate is earning this well, what are you earning? Then you get distracted. The marriage conditions come in that hey, get married and everything. That is all distraction. And then I realized like it was good that it happened to us early, because now I'm sure that I'll not let it happen to me. Because while after Shark Tank, when we came into this limelight, I realized that अभी तो लाइफ में और भी बहुत कुछ करना बाकी है. मतलब the fame, the traction, the everything that we got is good, but we thought that we got it pretty early on. we want to do a lot more things ahead. And now with this being an entrepreneur, there's a pressure as well. There are a lot of things as well, that are happening to us, which is not that easy to handle mentally as well, physically as well. It requires a lot of courage to get detached and then from all of that and then come back again, work. But then I would honestly say when you're an entrepreneur, it's always good to make sure that majority of the time you're working backstage and forefront में तब आना है जब you are sure that this is something you've built. I mean, this is my perspective. Everyone might have a different perspective. But as you asked Sanjit, like, what is the biggest challenge of being an entrepreneur? This is the recent thing that I'm experiencing and I'm sharing with you, that uh, make sure you don't very frequently come into the limelight. You make sure you're away from all of those things that are distracting you. Uh, नहीं तो that self drive एक बार वो लग जाती है ना, like working and suddenly there is a break. If you lose that habit, then it's gone. It takes you a very hard time to come back and follow that same schedule and routine.
Okay, thank you. That's answered my question. Thank you.
And there was one more question. Like, what are the challenges faced by the women or girl entrepreneurs right now, and how you think like they can be like resolved? How we can promote women entrepreneurs in the country?
I would honestly say, yeah, right now, women, I mean, I've been to a girls' college 4 years, a mechanical engineer with 90 female in my batch. And, मैंने वो बायस मतलब बहुत पहले देखा अपनी लाइफ में. But then when I stepped into the startup industry, it was all like in 2015 men, there will be one lady. And I saw like criticism by VCs or VCs not trusting women, or even the investors thinking कि इनका शादी हो जाएगा, so they'll be married, then they'll be committed, so they won't be able to give time to the startup and everything. So yeah, there are lot of factors that investors also think about while putting in money. But for women, it's all gonna be like, I'll honestly say this one thing which I say everywhere. That has happened with me and it still happens with me. We're always gonna be questioned, women, like in terms of why are you going there? Where are you going? How are you going? With whom are you going? Why are you coming late? You are always going to be questioned if you start a startup, if you work for night shift, if you approach a guy, if you're the one making the first move. Every time you're going to be questioned. But end of the day, it's like everything depends on the way we answer the person who's questioning. Matlab, everything depends on the way how confident you are with your personality and how much you know about yourself. So today I would say I know myself in a way. I'm इतना confident खुद के लिए that I know my game. So whichever field I get into today, I know that I'll give my best because I know my game. I know myself very well. So that way, whatever today the people who question me on me being a girl and then being this entrepreneur with two male founders, people question me a lot. But everything depends on the way I answer, and I make sure my answer shuts their mouth so that they don't ask me other questions. Because I get very offended when that biased questions are asked. I don't know, I get offended, but it's like अभी तो थोड़ा ठंडा होने की कोशिश कर रही हूँ मैं, अच्छे से समझाने की कोशिश कर रही हूँ, but गुस्सा आता है कभी कभी क्यों पूछ रहे हो ये सब. हाँ, it is for women. I would say everything depends on the way we answer.
And like, do you plan to like empower some other college based startups in future? Like, are you guys planning to help some other college-based startups? You feel like their idea is quite revolutionary. Would you guys love to support or encourage them in future?
I would say honestly, I would love to. Basically, the intent of Event Leap is not only to empower youth, but empower youth to building up their own startups, not go abroad. I mean, ठीक है, जिनको जाना है जाए, but we want to retain the young crowd, the talented crowd in India, because we realize today, being a tech company, when we find tech talent, it's very it's very hard to find tech people. I mean, I went to Bangalore and I was like searching for tech. Because in Pune, we realized कि ठीक है, थोड़ा tech crowd, it's a fresher crowd. I went to Gurgaon, Bangalore. There is this good tech base, decent tech base. But but the superstars, everyone is there out in, big companies already placed and fanged. And then we are like, okay, fine, how to get a hold of these people? So, these people 2018, 2019 pass outs, they're doing really well there. Even we feel कि यार वहाँ से यहाँ जल्दी आ जाओ so that you can do well in this Indian startup ecosystem as well. Yes, there are a lot of product managers now. The product community from US is being shifted to India, and a lot of product managers are coming in India. That is actually helping a lot of startups. But I would say, question क्या था मैं भूल गई. What was the question?
My question was like, would you guys help any like any
Ah,
college-based good startup in future? Like, would you help
right.
them?
So basically, the intent is that making students, empowering the youth in a way that they come in and they actually not only think of being placed in their dream companies or being placed with this package, but also are courageous enough to start up something of their own. So we plan to empower colleges, we plan to get into colleges, we plan to help women or the young entrepreneurs to come and just build something of their own and just go in the market, not worry about anything, and just launch their products and see how it works. Because 2-3 साल के स्टार्टअप पे आप जो एक्सपीरियंसेस क्रिएट करते हो वो कुछ 4 साल की डिग्री में या 2 साल के MBA में तो नहीं कर सकते हो. 2 years of startup is going to give you a great experience about life, I would say. At some point of time, even if you fail, but if you plan to become an entrepreneur, मान लो कॉलेज में स्टार्ट कर दिया थर्ड ईयर में, वो entrepreneur का एक बार आपको अंदाजा लग जाएगा ना कि entrepreneur की लाइफ कैसी होती है. I think it's going to be a really good life lesson for everyone. So I would say honestly, try being an entrepreneur, try building something. अगर मन लग गया तो बन जाओगे, नहीं लगा तो जॉब्स तो है ही. मतलब ऐसे भी नहीं है कि जॉब करना गलत बात है, but it's like make sure all of your efforts are backed with all of your risks are backed with 100% efforts. That is something we have to make sure while we plan to do something like this. तो मैंने तो अपने लाइफ में ऐसे ही कर लिया, कोई उस वक्त बताने वाला नहीं था, तो I didn't back my risks with 100% efforts at that time. I took risk, I failed, then I realized, oops, गलती हो गई. So now when I realize that, now I make sure that every risk I take is backed up with good efforts.
And actually, since we were having this discussion with you, so many people from our server were actually pinging me. They are loving the session so more. Like, if possible, can we extend it for like 10 or 15 minutes more? If you are not busy, since you are a really busy person, we can make that up right now. And like, if possible, just 10 more minutes.
Yeah, that's totally fine. 10 minutes more is fine. Anyway, today is a Sunday. So, yeah.
And by the way, sorry to disturb you on the Sunday because generally most of the people are already exhausted by their busy weekdays. And it's so
Mm.
nice of you that you like took up time out for us. It really means a lot to us. Thank you so much once again. So like
Thank
there
you.
were
Thank
some
you.
more questions from I think the crowd, and one guy is asking me like, what was your experience after like, how did you felt after meeting the sharks? Like you, since I think they are following you on their link on your LinkedIn, so you have posted a post recently with the judges of Shark Tank. So how was your feeling meeting those big personalities?
I would say I'll say right the time from the TV round of Shark Tank India. So I'll share a quick story with you all. Uh, we being tech startups, if you all have seen Shark Tank US, Shark Tank Australia, we to just applied, knowing the fact that yeah, tech startups to nahi aate. We've never seen majority tech startups on these platforms. So we applied, we got into the first round, second round, third round clear ho gaya. Fourth round was the Mumbai audition round. We went to Mumbai. It felt like Indian Idol, where we were auditioning. Uh, it was good. Like there was creative team and business development team evaluating us. एंड उसके बाद तो वो मुंबई ऑडिशन राउंड के बाद तो हमें लगा कि चलो अब हो जाएगा, क्योंकि हमको वी न्यू दैट वी मेड लॉट ऑफ फन देयर. मतलब 3 राउंड्स में तो हमें ऐसा ही लग रहा था कि यार नहीं होगा, कितनी मेहनत भी कर लो पर शायद टेक स्टार्टअप्स नहीं आएंगे. एंड एक लिंक्डइन का पोस्ट भी देख लिया था जहाँ पे लिखा था दैट टेक स्टार्टअप्स तो नहीं है बट हर तरह के स्टार्टअप्स आर अलाउड. तो फिर बट देन वी वर एंड देन फाइनली वी वर कॉल्ड इन नवंबर 2021 टू द फॉर द टीवी राउंड. वी आर वेरी एक्साइटेड एंड आई थॉट फर्स्ट सीजन है, ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं होगा इसका बज़ वगैरह. सो वी थॉट फर्स्ट सीजन है, कुछ ज़्यादा आई डोंट थिंक वी गोना गेट दिस मच ऑफ लेवरेज. एंड ठीक है सोनी टीवी पे आ रहा है, वी डिडंट थिंक अबाउट इट मच. But the moment I saw the set, the music, the stage, season 1, everybody surprised क्योंकि सबके लिए एक नया चीज़ है, किसी को आइडिया नहीं था शार्क टैंक इंडिया दिखेगा कैसे. So then we saw the sharks. Then we were very happy sharks को देखकर कि यार मतलब सपने में भी नहीं सोचा था इनसे मिलेंगे कभी. So the time when we were actually called for the TV round, I was seeing people rather disheartened or rather very happy, but majority of the people disheartened, not coming out with checks but with tears, sad. इतना मेहनत किया, इतने दूर से आए, क्या हुआ है ऐसे वैसे. तो मुझे तो लगा यार सबको तो रोस्ट किया जा रहा है, हम भी बहुत रोस्ट होने वाले हैं. मुझे तो पता ही था हम रोस्ट होने वाले हैं, बिकॉज आई वाज श्योर वी आर किड्स. And look at the way I don't know how are we gonna look there and everything, and we were ready to go there and believe the fact that ठीक है जो होगा, या तो मार्केट में इज्जत बढ़ेगी या तो घटेगी, मतलब रोज तो होना ही है. तो बट वहाँ जाने के बाद आई थिंक आई तो वाज सो मतलब इतने पिच किए लाइफ में, नियरली 50+ pitches we've done so far, but the Shark Tank pitch was very different. Like people sitting 5 investors sitting right in front of you, and then you are supposed to tell your idea, and within 40-30 minutes they're going to evaluate and probably decide will they put money or not. So I went in, and for me it was a lot scary situation ki how will I thought I'll forget lines and everything, but I would say touchwood that the whole event pitch was, the 2.5 minute pitch was so smooth, so clear, so crisp, and nothing actually failed there. Even the app demo and everything worked really well, so that was pretty good. And there we somewhere were thinking acha we're going to be roasted and everything, but nothing happened like that, although we were very scared. But उसके बाद भी जब when we recently met Aman, Ashneer, we realized कि okay, I mean we were scared, but we knew that these people are so much value add, so much helpful, and so much kind and humble. I'm not joking. The way they were on TV, same way they were live, and meeting both of them was, I mean, pata nahi, the 30 minutes time that we could spend with Ashni, that was so much value add. He shared so many things, he shared so many ideas, so much of his experiences. We had a lot of fun. And the next day when we met Aman is exactly the same how he is on TV. कि वो पिक्चर है ना, वो मूवी देखा है क्या, उसमें ऐसे ऐसे करता है. सेम में ही वाज देयर इन हिज ऑफिस सेइंग दैट वो मूवी देखी है जिंदगी ना मिलेगी दोबारा, उसमें लिखा हुआ था ना सब स्क्रिप्टेड है, सब लिखा हुआ है. So मतलब they are being at that top position, they are so humble. I would say the right set of sharks that Shark Tank India has found, and it was amazing meeting them. I can't even yet when I think about those days. Me and my co-founder, we literally smile and we're like, "क्या मजा आया था उसमें." So yeah, I mean, say a lot helpful. We need to have such mentors. We need to have such people in the cap table because they come in with the real value add, and they tell you what exactly happens in the startup ecosystem and how things operate. So, and looking at them, your way of thinking and your way of operating changes. So you should be in the network and connect of these people, honestly. Yeah, that's how I would brief the meet that we had. And I would say both office, though that was a office, it's going to be a dream office for every young entrepreneur. It's in horse cast. And I remember the whole hippie area where we walked in, and I am asking my co-founder, are you sure you put in the right location? He's like, yeah. And then we walk in and see, okay, it's such a beautiful boat headquarters that they have. So yeah, it was a great space and great feeling to meet them.
And just one last question is from a guy known as Yesh, and he's asking me like, do you plan to scale even Beat globally, and how do you plan to do it?
All right. So end of the day, I would quickly take this in a way that after Shark Tank, we actually had universities from Canada, Ireland, Poland, wherever possible, approaching us and saying that, hey, we want to have this such kind of community in our colleges as well, in our universities as well. So we were like, let's figure out what is the difference between their university and our education system, and like basically what works well for them, what doesn't for us. And we realized that जो exchange programs this is very important, because unless we learn from this Australian university that they're doing this way, we won't be able to get new innovations and changes in our education system, because we've always been complaining about the Indian education system. So the only way we can fix it is to learn from the people who are doing it level best. So yes, the plan is to make it global. Right now, the plan is to initially take it through college level, then state level, at least then nationally we're able to have all the colleges, and then build this ecosystem. And once that's possible, taking it globally is also the plan, and we want to do it because that's how end of the day it's gonna add value. Uh, and immense amount of exchange programs, network connections that will really help students to even understand that today in this certain university in Stanford, wherever the people are working on such kind of projects, so why not in our college we can work? So we want to make sure that this tier one, tier two, tier three difference is not there. College is a college where everyone gets equal amount of opportunity, and no matter what you're in, whichever college, you are getting the right amount of opportunities in your life. That is the goal from MNB that you want to do. All right, then
So
thank you so much, everyone. It was great to have you all, and thank you for all of the questions. I hope I was able to add certain amount of value to the time that you've been spending with me and do justice to the time that you've spent for the session. So thank you once again, Subhanshu and the whole team for
Thank you
having me
so
here.
much, ma'am. It was really
Thank you
great
for
having you, and it was a really lovely session. We enjoyed the time you spent with us, and all the best for your future endeavors. And we would really love to have you in future if we get a chance. And thank you for sparing time for us. And it was lovely meeting you. You have a really great personality, and you took everyone's doubt really well. And thank you once again. You have been an iconic figure throughout the country right now, and we got to learn a lot from you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That really means a lot to
And
me, and I wish you all the luck. Thank you so much.
eventually, just love to add one last thing. We have had Mr. Anand Sharma. He was also a fellow contestant at Shark Tank, and Tweak Labs was the
Greek Labs.
company. And we actually had him as our previous guest just before you because we are having a Shark Tank month this week. We are having all the people from Shark Tank coming over, and we also tried to get him as a mentor on our server. So I would love to explain you the concept of mentor later on someday, and would love to have you just add us as a mentor to our community and to our platform so that you can also give back to the community in some way. It won't take much of your time, just 30 minutes in a month, if
Oh,
if we organize something.
I'll be happy to help the community. That will be a big opportunity for me to interact with the audience. Yeah, I will be
Thank you so
for
much,
that.
ma'am, once again, and have a great day ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.